So, Rudy, I guess the big story today, provincially, no one saw this one coming. We've been talking about it, mentioning it on the news. Marwa Risky, who really has been, I think, and I think Jim Meny alluded to this earlier on, more often than not, the face of the provincial Liberal Party over the past little while, certainly before Pablo got there, and perhaps some might say even then. She has been, from what we understand, suspended by the party and will sit as an independent MNA. What's your take on all this?
All the ingredients are there for a big crisis. For the moment, there's a lot of unknown, but all the ingredients are there because, as you just mentioned, Marwa Risky is the face of the Liberal Party, has been the face of the Liberal Party, has been the best performer member of the National Assembly for the Liberal Party. Don't forget, she's a lawyer. She was the parliamentary leader, and she did suspend her chief of staff yesterday, saying that there were irregularities. We don't know what is happening. Is it because of the leadership of the Liberal Party? Is it because there's mismanaged when it comes to funds? We don't know. But the reality is that she showed up this morning with her lawyer and was suspended by the leader of the Liberal Party, Pablo Rodriguez. She says that she doesn't want to say anything for the moment. And when Pablo Rodriguez was asked about it, he said that he still doesn't know what happened. So as I just said, there's a lot of unknown, but all the ingredients are there for a big crisis, not today, but for the upcoming days, when we're going to know what exactly happened. Is it because of the leadership race or not? Especially that Marwa Risky supported Pablo Rodriguez for the leadership. So she cannot be attacked that she was against him or anything. She supported him during leadership. He put her as the parliamentary leader. And now she sacked or fired her chief of staff, who was a very close advisor to Pablo Rodriguez. And that's the problem. Pablo Rodriguez saying that he wasn't informed. He doesn't know why the advisor was sacked, and now he suspended her.
So the official statement is, or the reason given is, quote, breach of trust. What does that mean?
Exactly. That's the problem. And the secrecy is going to hurt the Liberal Party because everybody is wondering what is the breach of trust. And Pablo Rodriguez even himself said that he doesn't know why the staffer was sacked. And for the moment, Marwa Risky is not saying anything. There's rumors, and I have to be very careful when I'm saying, but there's rumors that there was irregularities when it comes to the leadership of the Liberal provincial race.
Okay. I mean, this is one of those questions, I guess. Do you think we'll ever know what actually really happened here?
I think yes, because there's some media reports saying that perhaps there's an investigation by the Directeur Général des Élections, so the Quebec elections. So we'll see if they're going to say or confirm that there's an investigation and what is exactly investigated. So for the moment, Marwa Risky is not talking, but perhaps in the upcoming days, maybe she will say why she decided to kind of call the shot. So for the moment, she's the one holding all the cards, and Pablo Rodriguez is also on the defensive because he's not speaking also.
Quite the story. I guess we're not going to hear from the opposition talking about this either right away, right?
No.
No
actually,
real sense in that.
François Legault was at a press conference this morning, and it's the media who told him that Marwa Risky is no longer the leader of the parliamentary at the National Assembly. Now it's going to be André Fortin. It's very interesting because André Fortin didn't support Pablo Rodriguez in the last leadership. He supported Charles Milliard, but Pablo Rodriguez put him in charge.
Right.
And there's a kind of a return now of Mr. Tanguay. Marc Tanguay is now the party's whip.
Okay, we'll leave it at that and then move on. Budget vote yesterday. We finally found out just before 7 o'clock. I say we finally found out, although, and I know we've been talking up this idea of could the government fall? Will it? You know, at the end of the day, I mean, this appeared to be pretty much a foregone conclusion, did it not?
Yes, but there was a kind of a little game that was played because we heard the Bloc saying they're not going to vote against the budget, and they did. They didn't vote for the budget. We also heard the NDP, but there was kind of some NDP who abstained. But when it comes to the Conservative, we also heard from Pierre Poilievre himself saying, we are going to vote against the budget, we're going to vote against the budget. But actually, it's not exactly what happened. We saw that, for example, former leader Andrew Scheer, who's now the House leader, kind of didn't vote it at first. And when he saw that the budget was going to pass, at the last minute did vote to make sure that we were not going to be in an election. So there's a kind of a narrative there that Pierre Poilievre was saying, oh yes, we are ready to defeat the Liberals, but in reality, the Conservatives didn't want an election, same as the NDP, but we find out that there was a little bit of game playing during the vote by, for example, Andrew Scheer, who voted only at the last minute when he saw that the government was not going to be defeated.
What was that all about, by the way? I read he said he had technology problems or something, ran in at the last. What the hell was that about?
No, it's not. No. What happened is that he wasn't at his seat during the actual vote, and at the last minute when he saw that he was able to vote, he said, "Oh, I wanted to vote electronically, but I couldn't," and showed up at his vote for his vote to be recorded because he needed to count to make sure that there were enough votes for the government and that the government wasn't going to fall.
Ira, you expecting anything else? Because I know we talked to a reporter earlier on who said, by the way, there will be other opportunities when the government could be brought down.
Yes, but it hurts the Conservatives, to be honest. It's not a good day when you hear the stories because how many times have we seen Pierre Poilievre on the offensive, that it's a bad budget, that he's ready to go in election. But the truth is he wasn't ready to go in election. And yes, he did maneuver with the NDP to make sure that this budget passed. So it's going to be a little bit of a bad narrative for him, especially that he's heading to the leadership review of his own leadership in January. So that is, for example, a little story that can hurt him.
By the way, I thought I saw a story today. It might have been an Angus Reid poll showing that all of a sudden Pierre Poilievre's popularity numbers are beginning to dwindle. He was on a bit of a run for a while, and now all of a sudden, I don't know that the budget, the decision on it will make a difference, but he is starting to fall off a bit. Does that hurt him in that review?
Yes, because the reality right now is that when you look at the Liberal versus the Conservative, the spread is not that big. I mean, we're talking about the Liberals at 42% or 41% and the Conservative at 38 or 40. But when you look at the popularity of the leader, you can see really that Mark Carney is more popular than the Liberal Party with 42%. But when you look at Pierre Poilievre, it's the opposite. He has a disapproval rate of 60%, meaning that he's less popular than his own party. So that's something, for example, that will also be a challenge for his leadership review when you look at the latest numbers.
All right. Final story today. We have the royal family, I guess, of Sweden visiting Canada. I know the Prime Minister met with them for a little bit today because he's jetting off to some other part of the world.
Abu Dhabi.
This is all about partially about Sweden trying to sell Canada some military jets. What do you think of what's going on here?
Yes, it is 100% for those jets. As you know, Canada still hasn't confirmed that they're going to buy all the F-35 from the U.S., that they were maybe looking at another supplier. So you can see that royal visit as something to push for Canada to purchase those Saab from Sweden, and maybe that would be the case. So that will be very interesting. The royal family is going, for example, to visit Bombardier. We'll be in Montreal tomorrow. So there's a lot of push because in the delegation of the royal family, there's also executives from Saab who are pushing for Canada to purchase those fighter jets and not to have the full order of the F-35 as it was announced in the past.
See, my question here is, Rudy, if this is, again, Canada going to reach out to the Swedes to go ahead and buy these planes, will Donald Trump take this as a slap in the face because we're not buying those F-35s from America?
Of course it will. Of course it will. But also the Army is not happy with it. We heard, for example, the former chief of staff of the Army saying we need those F-35. We cannot have like two different fleets. It's going to be difficult, for example, for training, for peace, for equipment and installation. But at the same time, Mark Carney said that we have to be less dependent on the U.S. and that we were looking to have other partners, for example, in Europe. It's also a question of if we buy the F-35, how much is going to be built in Canada? Not a lot. But if we buy the Gripen from the Swedes, a lot will be built in Quebec. And that, I guess, would be also something that will support the narrative that we need to be strong in Canada.
Hey, Rudy, I got to wrap up, though. You want to take a quick shot at what Melanie Joly had to say today to take a shot at PSPP?
No, I think after Russia, now it's the Quebec throwing us to the U.S. I don't think it's very credible. I think that the Feds should have some better attack when they want to go after the big.
Okay, we shall see where this goes. Thank you, Rudy. Appreciate it.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.